morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Waking Up with Soop and Sugah. You guys are tuning into episode 69, and it is Tuesday, August 15th, and of course, with me today, as always, on a beautiful Reset Tuesday, is my two regular co-hosts, Sugah Tits and DJJ Gao. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Hi.
Good. And
Ready for some action.
ready for action. And you know who else is ready for action? Our guest co-host,
Always ready for action.
Ernestine. How's it going, Ernie?
69 is my favorite.
It's actually going really great, thankfully.
Yeah, guys. Episode 69, and of course it would be here with Ernie.
And there are stories that could be told at this point.
But yeah, guys, we're still on our Accent Clan road trip, and we're currently in Fort Worth, Texas. Last week we came to you from New Braunfels. But yeah, guys, I don't know about Ernie, but we've been having tons of fun. So, Ernie.
Yeah.
How'd you get into Destiny, buddy?
I got into Destiny after about most of year one watching some other guy play it, and I just disliked him so much. I'd sit there and watch him, travel around the worlds and go, God, that's so stupid. God, that's so whatever. And then I got in with a different roommate of mine who was really happy about this Destiny thing, and I saw him play, and it was a completely different experience because he wasn't a tool. So I saw him doing these things that were designed for 3 and 6 people. Like, he would go in and try to solo raids, and I said, wow, this guy's really cool. How do I do this? He said, here's your Ghost account on my PS4. Go ahead and sign up with your email and just start playing. So we would get into it. And I started getting involved with all the storylines and these events. And then one day, I found myself doing that one thing in the Vault of Glass that he did that inspired me. And I was like, shoot, I've made it. Like, this is pretty cool. And then SRL, I fell in love with SRL. And it absolutely brought me in here. Yeah. Like, all the way. That really did it for me.
Yeah, SRL definitely was something different. And of course, you've been with Exit since like Killzone
3.
Killzone 3.
Oh yeah.
So you're not one of these Exit Clan members that came in after Destiny or came in specifically for Destiny, because of course Exit was a clan that's been around way before before Destiny. Exit's been around for how many years now, Gal?
Almost 8, I would say.
Almost 8.
It's been a while.
So,
and Ernie here's a vet, man. He's been with it for a long time.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's been in it longer than I am. Ooh, look at that. No scope. So, it's just, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Ernie's been just fantastic, not only a fantastic host, but he's a really good clan member and a really swell fellow.
Yeah, he is.
Well, thank you. I'm blushing all over.
So, Ernie, before we start hopping into video game news, I know you played the Destiny 2 beta, the Beard.
I sure did.
What'd you think about the beta, buddy? What'd you think about specifically the 4v4 as far as all Crucible events?
I think that the 4v4 dynamic definitely makes the loss of a team member a lot more brutal. I've noticed that when it's 4 against 3 and 4 against 2, it's just so much more devastating than a 6v5. You immediately feel the loss of a member, even if you're just waiting for his revive. It suddenly becomes, it's not that easy. You can't just bounce back. You have to plan around this new, unexpected loss.
Yeah, no, it's definitely true. It does things to definitely to the 6-man teams. Iron Banner is going to feel differently. Hella different.
Oh yeah.
But we'll see. I don't think the changes are for the worst. I definitely think they're for the best.
I'm sorry, I slid into this zone and then Gal creeped up behind me and pushed me right out. It's hilarious.
I felt like we pushed each other because I went flying too.
Ooh, that's good.
Doesn't know his own strength.
So, guys, let's hop into our first segment of the morning, video game news, because we've got quite an amount of news here. Let's start with the sad news first.
Zone C.
Last Trials was this weekend.
Neutralized.
For sure was.
No. I never went to the lighthouse.
Oh no!
I never did either.
Oh, me.
Now, you have total control.
So sad.
So yeah, last weekend for Trials, we played tons of Trials last night.
We had.
Last night we were up to like 3 in the morning playing Trillis the Osiris.
Yeah, I stayed up way past my bedtime.
Yeah, you definitely did. I don't know. I figured you'd be grounded this morning. So what? Last Trials. I see the reasoning behind it. They don't, putting up Trials every weekend takes up people. It takes people to either pick the map, keep an eye on stuff, make sure there's nothing glitchy going on. So it requires focus, right? Even if the maps are perfect and they're not rotating and there's only one map set, you still have people who will report other people for being red bar warriors. So these are all things that, like, someone needs to be there to receive the reports, to do whatever it is that Bungie does with these reports.
They just put them on the back burner, I think.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. But what they need to do is that they need to focus all their efforts on D2. I don't know about you guys. I want it to be fucking perfect. I don't need a queue time. I don't need a tapir. I don't want any zoo animals of any kind. Okay. I don't want any insects. I don't want. What else do we get, guys? I don't
Baboon.
want. Yeah, I don't want any fruits. I don't want any vegetables. So
Nothing.
nothing. No animals. No fruits.
Insects.
Nothing. No insects. None of that. No. I don't want bumblebees. I don't want blueberries. I don't want blueberries. I don't want mongoose or badger or bear or whatever. I want launch day to be perfect, especially for the amount of time that they've taken, because let's not forget, Destiny 2 was originally supposed to come out when the Rise of Iron came out. They put out the Rise of Iron to give them more time to develop Destiny 2. So,
Sweet.
hopefully you have taken that time and used it wisely, Bungo. Okay?
Bungo.
Pop that heavy. And but with the last Trials, it was the rotating maps. I had a tons of fun. All right, last night I was using this No Land Beyond, guys. I don't know if you've heard of this gun, but damn, I was impressing myself last night. I'm a little sad now that Trials is gone. Which is funny because this is like the only weekend, I think, where I've had a full weekend to play Trials. I'm usually working on the weekends, which is why I've never given Trials my, all-out 110%. The closest I've come to the Lighthouse is 8-1. We went 8 wins, and we almost had the 9, but I'm not gonna lie, Soop kind of fucked up. And didn't get to go to Lighthouse. It was not in the cards for me. But it was a really great run. It was super fun. Did it with Swoley and Jason. It was definitely an experience. I'll tell you what. Like that, it was going past. I think the record for me before was 7, like 7-1. So definitely like getting to 8 and then getting that 9th game. Like, ooh, this is it. Like. This is it. We just got to win this one, and then it's Lighthouse. Like that is a rush. Let me tell you right now. It is. It's a feeling that like I think everyone
I'll never
needs.
know.
Well, calm down, because there's going to be Trials for Destiny 2.
Oh, okay.
All right. So just because you didn't
Yeah,
go to
Trials of
Lighthouse
the
year
Nine,
one,
right?
well, Trials of Osiris. Just because you didn't go to
Trials
Lighthouse
of the
year
Nine.
one, yeah, no, not the 9.
I don't know, but there's going to be 8 people, aren't there?
Well, yeah, 4v4 trials. Like, speaking of the 4v4 dynamic, like that is definitely gonna
Cool.
change things for trials. Adding another person, instead of splitting up and one person goes one way and 2 people go the other, now you have 2 teams of 2 splitting up and possibly, you know, pinching or flanking on the enemy team. So it's just it's going to change the dynamic, like Ernie said before, and I think it's going to do good for trials. And my main reason for thinking that this is going to be good, and you guys can tell me whether you agree with me or not, is the fact that because they've made every Crucible game mode 4v4, whoever your 3 other teammates are that you usually play Control, Rift, Clash, all that other shit with, once you guys go into Trials of Osiris, it's going to feel a lot more natural, right? Because
Yep.
you're used to being with those people all the time. You get used to each other's play styles and the call-outs. And I've played with people where I haven't played with them before, but using call-outs and communication, we get pretty fucking far. Guy will tell you right now the difference between him playing with me and Sugah, and just the communication, hey, he's around the corner, he's about to put you can, my res is up in 5, as opposed to playing with Parker that just rushes in, doesn't talk, and tries to stick a grenade. No skin. Because there's no communication, you don't know what your other teammate is doing, you're kind of, you know, up in the wind. So communication is key for trials. Like, I'm not going to tell you that if you jump in with a whole bunch of randoms and you talk a lot and communicate really well, you're going to go to Lighthouse, but you're going to get pretty far. You still need to be able to play with that team. You need to play a couple of matches with that team to kind of get a feel for what the people play like. Whether, hey, this person's always going to rush, this person's always going to stay back and try to snipe, or this person is a support. They're not necessarily going to push, they're going to stay behind me, and if I need to reload, they're going to be there with the grenade or the extra shot. Support roles, Gauzy sometimes gets upset because he's like, all I get is fucking assists. But those support roles sometimes are so useful, especially in game modes like Trials, Skirmish, Salvage, because you don't always get your whole clip off, you don't always, you know, you're not always on point, and you need someone there sometimes to pick up that slack.
Oh, I understand
Those
all that.
team
It's just sad that, you know, I'm always on the bottom. Like, you know, I mean, that's what just gets me. It's like, you know,
we know you like
I know
the
I'm
bottom.
support, but hey, I heard that.
So I just, you know, I think this 4v4 dynamic, like I said, because you're used to playing with these people all the time for all other Crucible reasons, it's Trials going to feel just more natural, I think.
I think so too.
So Ernie, you're not a big Trials guy.
I was never a big Trials guy. It seems like I personally got into Trials way too late. And I was never an ace sniper in this game. And by the time I even started to get good, I mean, you've got people that can literally no-scope 360 about it and then dance on your grave.
Right, and then teabag afterwards.
But for some reason, the dynamic of that game never clicked with me. Whereas with something like Supremacy and small maps, I feel like, you know, a Grecian god stomping about the countryside. But that Trials of Osiris, ironically also, you know, Egyptian, ancient, blah, blah, blah. It never clicked with me. And it seems like everybody that ever said, hey, let's play Trials, would just outclass me to such an amazing degree. And it's not... I am a support player. I love being support. And in Trials, you each have to be a one-man army. And it's hard for me.
It is. Unless you guys
Same
stick
here.
together, in which case the team shots are ridiculously good.
It's true, but I have been.
It is, but then we die together too, so that
Well,
feels better.
but I've also
Also
been
true.
in countless situations where I'm the last man standing, and yes, there are times that I can really push through and, like, you know, get us that win. but every once in a while, it's just like if I was a stronger individual player, just like Ernie said, you know what I mean, I would be able to pick up the slack. So, because it does,
yeah, example, last night, I was
Yeah.
the last one standing. The dude's right in front of me. I don't see him.
I don't see him. That's okay though. You're old.
He's
Your
right
vision
there.
is what you
Jeez.
Don't blame yourself, Gal. You just need a stronger prescription.
Yeah.
Maybe some bifocals for the faraway shots and the close shots. I don't know. So, you know, super sad again because Trials is over. It is over. No more Trials. And I'm not sad because I didn't get to go to the lighthouse. I'm sad because I had so much fun last night.
we did
Like,
have a lot of
we
fun.
literally
was
played
fun.
Trials till like
It
3
was
a.m.
fun.
So, you remember how Parker wanted to see if we would be able to, like,
Oh, yeah.
two different teams
Match up.
match up? It happened.
Yeah.
Well, we tried it,
No
and
way!
in the first
Way.
match, the first one we tried, boom, right away, we matched up. It was me, Neo, and Happy Meals versus Shug, Parker, and VRC. So
Wow.
we had previously been doing some private elimination matches.
Which we were having a lot of fun in.
We did 2 out of 3, and we did good in those, and Parker and the ladies and VR lost. And then, when it was go time on a Trials match, Parker brought that A game, got a wrecking ball. First off, I don't think I've ever seen her get a wrecking ball. She, like, nailed all 3 of us. She no-skilled stuck one, mited the other, and then while I was trying to res, she popped me too. So she brought the A game, and they won that match. What was it? I think it was 3-5.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, so it was fun. It was exciting. Like I said, it was some of the best Trials I played last night.
Right, I feel we really
I'm
closed it out.
almost a little sad that Ernie had to work.
I mean, it's fine.
It's fine. I know, but we had a fucking blast. You know, it was just it was great. You know, Parker was doing her no skills Monday, and which of course, come on, I started that
Which
shit.
it's become a thing.
But it's become a thing, and it's definitely gonna carry on over to Destiny 2. That no skills Monday.
I'll tell you that I've done the no skills with Parker, and I think it was Chicago Gunner, maybe Gal, I forget, because I have terrible short-term memory. But it was so much more fun to go into Trials
Without
with
any
people
pressure.
that didn't care if we won or lost.
Exactly.
true.
You know, it freed me up,
That's
and
it.
it
And
led
that's
to
the-
some miracle plays.
Well, and that's the concept of what no skills was. It was like, fuck it, let's
Yep.
just have fun.
Just go in there, have
And
fun.
that's what turned it into fun for me,
Yeah.
was that concept right there.
That's what happens when you mix a little booze and some sticky
Oh,
grenades.
jeez, I've got a sniper rifle.
You know, alcohol and sticky grenades.
Sticky grenades. Yeah, it just started
And
with
sidearms.
like listening to other people being so upset
Or
over
sticky grenades and sticky buds, you know.
sidearms. All they use is sidearms. All they use is shotguns. All they use is sticky
you know,
grenades.
all they're
No fucking
using-
skills.
All they're using is stuff in the game. God,
God,
fuck.
fucking skills.
Fucking cheaters using shit that the game gave us.
Cheaters. Fucking cheaters.
Have you ever played Tetris with someone else and then went, "Oh, you fucking cheater! You got the perfect piece, and you put it in the best spot ever. You cheating piece of shit! Why did you use that piece? Why did you use another piece? Fucking no skills."
no fucking skills.
So yeah, definitely, you know, can't wait till you come back, Trials. You will be missed and remembered fondly. But like all things in life, we must move forward to Destiny 2. More specifically, guys, to Destiny 2 Rockstar Energy cans. Look, I'm holding me one right now with a Titan on it. Are you ready? Are you
Guess
ready?
who? Guess who brought 'em? Ernie.
Ernie brought them for us from work this morning. He's like, "Oh guys, I got you some," and he came home and he had these cans, and they got the Titans on them. So this is just for you, Gauzy. Are you ready?
Where'd you get it? Where'd you get it at?
Where'd you get them, Ernie?
I got them at my local 7-Eleven Shell gas station thing.
There you go. Check out 7-Eleven. Gauzy, this one is for you.
Oh, so crisp.
Yes.
I feel like a rock
Like my
star right
headshots.
now.
Look, I see the code right here.
Yeah.
Guys, the code is 83. Nah, I'm just fucking with you. That's my code.
Oh, wait, there's a code I'm supposed to do?
Damn,
Yes.
I had a pen
Well, now I
ready
have to
too.
There's
Ah.
code in
didn't
the.
know.
Yeah, these aren't just
There's
cool,
a code on the
cool
back of
artwork.
the on the
tab.
the back of the tab here, and it says so. The can straight up says "score loot with cans." I mean, when don't you score loot with cans? Am I right? Oh, 69. Collect and enter tab codes at destiny2.rockstarenergy.com. The codes unlock in-game gear, plus a chance to win a collector's edition of the game and a PS4 Pro. So,
Wow.
yeah, let me sip it up here.
Sip it up.
Does it taste like that?
Oh, it tastes like Destiny 2.
Oh, oh.
Tell me what else.
Oh,
Silly boy.
it tastes like,
Splash damage?
yeah, it tastes like splash damage.
Enemy captured zone B.
It tastes like the salty tears of my enemies when they complain about me having better gear than them because I got out of a can. What? You already have purple
Alright.
gear?
I went looking for those this weekend too, and I could not find them.
So actually, they're not supposed to be on the shelf until September 1st. So
we talked about this last week.
This Shell station is not known for GAF at all.
yeah, it's true. There's just gas stations, Shell stations.
They're like, yo, we got
7-Elevens.
we got the
Yeah.
shipment. Why are we waiting?
Yeah, or an employee that didn't know that these are supposed to be held at a certain time, and they just needed to restock the cooler, so they went for the first case of Rockstar and restocked the cooler.
Traded.
There's also an instance where someone I saw on Twitter. They scored a box of Pop-Tarts already with the double XP
king.
codes. Crazy good. So these things are out there, not necessarily because
supposed to be.
because they're out early. It's just because it's probably just employment. Employees fucking up and not knowing that these are supposed to be held until September. But it's a thing. You can probably go like on Amazon right now and find a can of Rockstar for like $25 just because it's out before it's supposed to be. Get your box of Pop-Tarts here, $30.
Yeah.
So don't worry, gal. Once September 1st comes, there's going to be so many on the shelf. You won't know what to do with them. Pop-Tarts and diabetes for days.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm excited. I want to see what. So not only do I want to see what the gear is going to be, right? I also want to know what's up with this double experience. Is it going to be for 30 minutes? Is it going to be for an hour? Is it? Oh my God! Headshot in the air. Is it going to be a significant amount of experience? Am I going to be able to level up in those 30 minutes instead of leveling up 1 or 2? Probably level up 4 or 5 levels. So definitely something. With Sugah and I were actually scouting because we haven't bought Pop-Tarts since high school. I have.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, what's the cost of some Pop-Tarts? And it's like $3 for a box of what, 8?
Yeah, it's like nothing.
A double experience. I'm basically paying $3 for a double experience code.
And a meal.
I guess. So and we're definitely gonna go batshit crazy with Pop-Tarts. I don't know too much about the Rockstar. Maybe just get a couple. Definitely want to get one of each can to hold to save. Because I still have a Red Bull can, guys, from the first Destiny promotion. I still have a closed Red Bull can. I still have... Do you guys remember when Halo 3 came out and Mountain Dew had that promotion where they had the Master Chief on their Mountain Dew live wire cans? I still have one of those cans.
It's true, it's on our mantle.
And,
it was on our mantle when we had one.
Right.
We're homeless now.
So...
Well, no, as long as you have clan members, you're not homeless, you're just houseless.
Aren't you so cute?
I try. I actively have to, otherwise.
So, I mean, I'm dorky about this stuff. I will always like buy one to keep it sealed. Which is why you
Not
know.
dorky. That's not dorky.
I reckon, you know. That's why, you know, comic book shops and places like Barnes and Nobles get twice as much money out of me. But yeah, guys, keep an eye out, because I don't want to say go hunting for them now, but keep an eye out. You know, if you're getting gas, just go into your gas station. Because, like I said, maybe some employee opened up the wrong case of Rockstars and started stocking the cooler. So you never know. Just keep an eye out. Don't go, you know, from gas station to gas station looking for them. But if you're there,
Right,
you know,
waste of time.
Waste of time. You might as well peek.
Waste of time.
So guys, keep an eye out for that. But definitely, it's closing in. We're like less than a month away. We're like what? We're like 20 days away from Destiny 2. It's the 15th. There's 16 more days in this month, and then there's 5 more days till Destiny 2. So like 21 days. Like 21 days to Destiny 2, guys. That is.
Oh, and I found out they're doing a midnight release, so I'll.
Oh, at your GameStop. So that's one thing that sucks about GameStop is, even though there's going to be a midnight release for you, Gal, there's no guarantee that there's a midnight release for us.
It has to do
that
store
sucks.
to store.
Yeah, midnight releases are based on pre-orders. If the store, if that specific store got enough pre-orders, then they will do the midnight release.
And it's like a week to a week and a half before it. Like, let's say a whole bunch of people when Cade came out did a whole bunch of pre-orders, but then
Soopkichen.
some of those pre-orders got canceled. No, they're
Soopkichen.
basing it like a week and a half before they say, okay, this store has enough pre-orders to actually make it worth it to pay their employees, which I understand from a financial aspect, but it makes it very challenging because it's like, well, this is why people aren't pre-ordering from every single store, because you're not guaranteed. It's like, this may be my local store, but I've got to go halfway across town because that's the one that's actually going to have the midnight release. And then they wonder why stores do poorly when it comes to pre-orders, because you cannot guarantee every player that they're going to get their game, you know, at the same time that other people are.
This episode of Waking Up with Soup and Sugar brought to you by Rockstar Energy Drinks. Not a sponsor.
Yeah.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
Nothing tastes as good as not getting sued, eh?
Hey.
Hey, yeah.
JK Rockstar sponsor me, send me a case. So yeah, guys, let's move away from Destiny news, guys, and let's hop over to The Division, because Ubisoft is putting out an update. They're putting out update 1.7. And this is going to add, guys, global events to The Division. They're going to be limited time events with special modified payout exclusive rewards.
Ooh.
Right? Now, the first one is starting today, August 15th, and it runs until August 22nd. So, not only is it, you know, different rewards, different gear, different guns, the enemies, like their behavior is going to be different now. And the reasoning behind this is, and this is pretty cool, these people have been in the infected zone since the release of the game, that their condition has actually started to deteriorate, almost like at when a nuclear bomb goes off and there's radiation and people are affected by that years down the line. That's kind of what this is going to be. So the AIs, the enemy AIs, they're going to act differently. So I wonder if they're going to be more aggressive, which
More crazy.
more guys with axes coming at you. So it's definitely going to be something to behold. And the new gear and everything sounds great. And ever since their last patch, actually, like, the characters weren't so tanky. The guys that ran up you with the axes and the shotguns they did not take 5 clips of team shooting to take down. So, guys, if you haven't been back in the division and you have that game, pop it in. Let me tell you right now, it's way better than the people that bought No Man's Sky and got their update this weekend, because they were still pretty pissed that they had to pop in that coaster. That was a $60 coaster. That was the most expensive coaster I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, guys, Division 1.5 update out today. Go ahead and log in the afternoon, guys. See the changes and check out those new global events. I'm a little sad I didn't bring my copy, which I debated too. I was like, yo, Shug, should I bring my copy of the Division on the road?
I know
And we were like, nah, it's cool. All we need is Destiny. All we need is Destiny.
Damn right.
So,
Damn right.
so I'm gonna have to wait until we get back. And I'm gonna go hard.
I go hard.
Mostly because that raid comes out 3 days after the game.
Hard.
But that's okay, gal. Pop-Tarts for days.
Pops.
Only one
LMFAO, KK, thanks, bye.
So the Division has given us an update today, and so is PlayStation. PSN is going to have an update, and this is kind of like a pre-update, right? It's a
prupdate.
It's a prupdate. It's a pre-maintenance update. It's kind of getting them ready for their big update, which is going to be update 5.0 for the PS4. And it's mostly going to center. I'm not going to lie. It's mostly going to center around the PS4 Pro. The PS4, I'm sure, will have a couple changes. I think one of the biggest changes is. Do you guys know when you pull up your quick menu? What's usually in your quick menu? It's like your broadcast settings and all this other stuff. Well, now you'll be able to see any downloads and uploads off that screen. So if you're like downloading a patch or a game, you won't have to like go out to the main menu, go over to your notifications and or downloads, and then check the download out. You'll be able to just pull up your quick menu, and that download bar will be there. Now that's for all systems. That's for PS4 Pro and PS4 regular and PS4 Slim. That's 3 versions of the PS4. Shit. Now for PS4 Pro specifically, exclusively, guys, they're going to be able to stream in 1080p at 60 frames per second directly onto Twitch from the system. So any streamers out there with a PS4 Pro looking forward to streaming Destiny 2, even though it's 30 frames per second on fucking console as opposed to PC, that 1080p will make it look so much better. Am I a little jealous? Yes. I want to stream in 1080p, 60 frames per second. Sure, people playing Overwatch and other games that are 60 frames per second, their streams are going to look so much better. Especially streaming from a PS4 as opposed to, feeding it through a capture card, and then through the PC. So, what do you guys think about? I mean, I'm sure if the because I don't think the PS4 is capable of pushing out that much. Like, I know the Pro is, because it was specifically made, for that 4K PlayStation VR, right? They needed something with a shit ton of power to make PlayStation VR look beautiful, and also something that would be able to spit out 4K. Because everyone's crazy about this 4K. 4K is everywhere. 4K is on TVs, on glass doors, on toilet bowls. 4K is fucking everywhere. It's, I'm not too crazy about the 4K though. Because in order to get true 4K, you not only need something that spits out, 4K resolution, like a PS4, but you also need a PS4 Pro, to be specific. But you also need a TV that'll, that has 4K capabilities. And even then, if you're streaming and you have a camera up, you have to be a certain distance. Otherwise, you'll look choppy on the camera. Not choppy, but you know what I'm saying. Like, there's ifs, ands, or buts to 4K. Where if I just get myself a monitor with really good fucking what's the word I'm looking for? Oh God, come on, guys.
Resolution.
There you go. With really good resolution, something with where the frame rate is just ridiculously good. You guys can ask Khan. Young Khan has recently switched to his computer monitor when he moved his PS4 from his living room to his office. And he's like, my Crucible gameplay has gotten so much better just because everything on the screen, like, it's happening faster for me. Things are happening faster for me. I'm able to react better to situations.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, and I believe it. So if you really want to spend money on making Destiny 2 look the best you can on a system, because of course if you're on a computer, you'll be able to get up to 120 frames per second. But if you guys really want to make it look the best on system, don't go for 4K. I say just find a really good computer monitor and hook that bitch up. That's gonna make a world of difference. But guys, away from PSN, onto our last bit of video game news, which is gonna be Pokemon. Because Pokemon is getting a couple more Mega Stones, and they've been slowly releasing Mega Stones for Pokemon Sun and Moon. 4 characters that were originally on X and Y, Ruby Sapphire, and all that good stuff. Even though you can't catch these Pokemon in Sun and Moon, you'll be able to transfer them from your old game file onto your new game file. Okay, from one game to another, and then you'll be able, because you can't transfer. If you're Pokemon banking, you can't transfer items. So if your Gardevoir is holding a Mega Stone and you transfer it to the Pokemon bank, that stone is gone. And then from the Pokemon bank, you transfer that Pokemon over to your new version of Sun and or Moon, or both. And you're there with that Pokemon without a Mega Stone. Well, now we're going to get 4 Mega Stones. 1 for Gardevoir, 1 for Gallade, 1 for Lopunny, and 1 for Deontay. So, guys, go ahead and pick up your Mega Stones if you're playing Pokemon, guys. I've been horrible lately. I've been absolutely horrible about picking up my free stuff. I missed out on my Topukaku. It was shiny with the set move list. Missed out. Completely missed out. I hope you guys got yours. As far as these, they're gonna be available via mystery gift, but there's going to be a code, a password, that you're gonna have to put in order to receive these guys. So the password, the passcode, whatever you want to call it, is POYONG. Again, POYONG. What is that? Poyong?
I feel like that might actually be fairly racist. I have no idea. It almost sounds like a city.
It almost does. So, guys, go ahead, put in your code, check it out, get your 4 stones, via mystery gift, and if you guys got those Pokemon in X and Y, which if you're playing Sun and Moon, chances are very slim that Sun and Moon are your first Pokemon games, alright? If you're playing Sun and Moon, you probably played X, you probably played Ruby Sapphire, you've probably been playing since, like, the Game Boy Color days. So,
Enemy captured zone.
So transfer those Pokemon over, have yourself some fun, guys. I'm going to try to pick up these stones and get myself some Gardevoir action. I think that's the only one I really want. I'm a Gardevoir. This Gardevoir is on point. So guys, that'll do it for this week's video game news. Let's move on to our next segment. Gao's favorite, I think. Cinema Madness.
Madness.
Now, a couple things. I actually have 3 things on the board today for Cinema Madness.
Zone A, neutral.
One,
Zone C,
guys,
secure. Zone A,
unfortunately,
total control.
there was a death on the
There was. The Deadpool
Oh,
set.
no.
on the set of Deadpool 2. So one of
the stunt ladies.
one of the stunt ladies, she was doing a motorcycle stunt.
Do we know which character?
So we think she was a stunt double for
You have total control.
for Domino.
Ah.
You know, for
Enemy captured zone
yeah.
C.
So they were doing a motorcycle stunt, and apparently it went wrong, and unfortunately she passed away. This is the life that stunt people live. You know, like sure they're always they either have like padding or whatever underneath the costume.
Yeah, all precautions are taken.
Right, precautions are
but-
taken, but unfortunately,
Zone
it's
C,
it's
neutralized.
the stunt
Zone
business,
A,
which
blocked.
is explosions and car crashes
Zone
and
C,
high-speed
Which
chases.
is exactly why a
Enemy
stunt
captured
double, so that
zone A.
that wouldn't happen to the actor themselves. They need a trained professional.
Yeah, trained professional, because these actors aren't spending days of their lives,
Well, even in those cases, these stunt people are doing these things on screen that even with assistant and safety devices, they're still actually sitting there and in real time performing this thing that makes us go, wow, look, a superhero. And it's just a regular Joe throwing themselves off a cliff
Right.
and or.
Yeah. So, yeah, unfortunately, that went down, but yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys. This is like the first time, in like that I've ever seen like a stunt death on set before. I don't know if you guys have like ever.
it's
I
really
mean, I didn't see it, but it's the first time that I've like heard of it for a movie that's filming.
So far, my only experience with that has been that Jackie Chan has broken yet another thing.
Correct.
Because he just regularly does his own
Yeah,
stunts
Yeah.
and break stuff.
Yeah.
But I've not heard of a death like that in some
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I remember in the original Ben-Hur, one of the chariot guys actually got run over and killed.
No
And
shit.
they've kept it in the movie. It's still in the movie where the he was the guy that was in the green outfit, rolled the wrong way, and the chariot actually got him. But they've kept it in there to honor the family, and every time it airs, the family gets something for it.
Royalties. Okay.
But, if you ever seen the original Ben-Hur during that guy actually died right there.
Wow. Yeah, like Ernie says, the only time I've ever heard of stuff like this happen is like, Charlize Theron, like, slip disc during Aeon Flux, which that movie sucked. Makes you sad that you got hurt doing a job where the movie sucked anyway. Han Solo for Harrison Ford, his foot during the set of Force Awakens. I'm trying to think. There was that other one. God, it was in my head and now it's gone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, it's gone. It'll come to me later. But yeah, like Ernie says, it's been accidents, but never any deaths, which is a first for me. But condolences to the family, and
Yeah, that sucks, man.
yeah, it blows. So, what do you guys think this is like going to put a downer on like the movie? Like everyone working on it now is going to feel different.
That's for
Well, I'm
me.
sure they're probably going to slow down a bit, but I think that they're going to honor the person,
For me,
No.
that's something that I think is going to depend largely on a director. And directors really are the individual leaders of their own thing, so I think how they treat the death and how they honor the memory for the rest of the shoot is really going to affect the spirits of the people still on set.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I think a lot of that's going to depend on a very strong director. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's his job or her job to make sure that this movie gets shot and that they get the reactions they need from these very human actors.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see what this does for Deadpool 2. But definitely, definitely something that, filming's not going to be the same for this movie. But hopefully, like Ernie said, the director will take it where this is something that'll almost inspire and uplift this group, and we'll do it in honor of and for this stunt lady that passed away, and that'll allow the actors and everyone to give it 110% as opposed to the 100% that they were given before, and not the opposite. So moving on, guys. And we were talking about this earlier, and Guy was starting to go into a rant. And I was like, save it for the show. Hellboy is being rebooted.
What?
And there are some script details and characters that have already been revealed.
Oh, they have?
All right. Now, it's going to be directed by Game of Thrones veteran Neil Marshall. And guess who's playing Hellboy, guys? David Harbour from Stranger Things. It's going to be an R-rated movie. I don't. The Del Toro Hellboys weren't rated R; they were PG-13, right?
Wait, but then who's directing
I think they were.
this
Yes.
one?
This one's being directed by Neil Marshall,
Yeah.
and he has had his hand directing a couple of Game of Thrones episodes. So Game of Thrones, very popular. That's a job where if you come from that, much like Stephen D. Knight, who came from Spartacus and Daredevil, and is now directing Pacific Rim 2. So I mean, it's a tough act to follow, okay? Because Ron Perlman did a very good job.
Oh
He
yeah.
did the character a great
he did.
service, and there's actually something I like even better.
Control.
Is that the guy that played Abe in the second one, the stuntman?
Doug Jones, fantastic guy. Actually, got to meet him.
And they ended up having a different voice actor
Yes,
for the character
yes.
himself, and I think that actually changed into the second movie.
Yeah, completely.
Zone C secure.
So and
Enemy captured. Zone A. You're in the lead.
a thing I liked about the original Hellboy, okay, was that Mike Mignola, the creator of Hellboy, was working so closely with the director to make sure that the comic, the character, was honored in the correct way.
This leads me personally to a question for you, because it's something I've noticed that Guillermo del Toro has a very slavish devotion to the comic book and the comic book form, whereas with comic book movies like the first Blade were far more gritty and realistic. Do we think that this Hellboy will be a departure from the comic look?
Possibly. It's possible, and the only thing that makes me think this is the R rating.
That's something about the cell shading tones are just not.
So when you talk about a director that comes from Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
Because Game of Thrones is
The Red
already
Wedding
pretty
and
edgy.
such.
All right, it's pretty fucking edgy. It's like it's like porn with a really good plot. So to bring this person that has worked on this specific, thing to Hellboy and then give it an R rating right off the bat.
So this isn't even going to the ratings board. This is just
This is like we're making
going
an
for the
R-rated Hellboy movie, which, like you said, it's going to change. It's going to change it. It's for two reasons. One, again, because it's someone who came from Game of Thrones, which is very fucking edgy, onto an R superhero movie. And second, are you making an R-rated superhero movie just because it's the thing to do now? We're all doing just R-rated superhero movies, even though some of them don't have to be. Like
Right.
Hellboy, the original Hellboy with Del Toro's, they weren't R-rated, but they weren't bad movies. You didn't go, oh, this Hellboy movie sucked because there wasn't any blood or there wasn't a really good sex scene. You know, it wasn't exclusively gory to the point where my girlfriend threw up. So to just come in and say we're going to give it the R, it just makes you question. Did the studio do this because of the director that they hired and they want to give him more leeway to do stuff because of the genre that he came from? Or was the studio the one who initiated and was like, we want to make this an R-rated movie so we can get more ticket sales?
Well, I don't think that not having an R rating affected ticket sales for something like Hellboy in the first place, because the budget was just top notch, and no one was ever going to say, well, I'm not going to watch Hellboy because it doesn't have an R rating, whereas with something like Marvel Zombies, if there was a Marvel Zombies movie
that would have to be
and
R-rated.
it didn't have an R rating, immediate questions would be raised because those pages, you can't dull that down and still tell the story.
It's true.
So maybe we can look at some of the more adult themes,
More adult Hellboy stories.
yeah, where we only kind of have an idea of what his sad childhood was, and we only have this kind of idea of the problems with him and his human girlfriend.
Yeah.
Where things like this, and also because our ratings tend to scare away the religious demographic. That may
It's
be able
Hellboy
to-
anyway. It's not like they're going to go see the devil.
Well, but the thing is, he is a creature of chaos. He is a demonic entity, and they might be able to delve further into that without immediately getting rid of a huge portion of the demographic.
You know, well, let me tell you. Speaking of getting rid of a huge portion of the demographic, children,
Well, yeah, fair enough.
right? You got all these tweens and all these 8 and 7-year-olds that have most likely watched the first round of Hellboy movies, and as soon as the new Hellboy trailer comes out, they're gonna be like, "Let's go see it, mommy and daddy." And mommy and daddy are like, "Oh no, this one's rated R. I don't want big old red dick on screen and my 8-year-old sitting next to me."
Why is it so red?
So, like that's unless
Oh my God! Yes, I just wiped 13.
I see.
Sorry.
I see beginning numbers, right? I see the beginning numbers maybe being a little lower than like week 2 or week 3,
Yeah.
right? Kind of like Logan.
I want to say something horrible that I'm sure every person that half thinks they know what movies are says, and go with that first weekend is going to be a huge influence on the rest of its run.
It's true, but it's very true. It's true with all movies, but like you said, it's going to be even more so. I think it is even more so for any R-rated comic book movie, any R-rated superhero movie.
Well, I mean, we have so few examples, so I would go again back to something like Blade.
Blade.
That was a stand-apart, stand-alone. Nobody said, hey, this is great for a comic book movie. They just said, wow, this is a great movie.
It's true. And then Del Toro actually came in for number 2, which is funny.
Enemy captured Zone A.
But yeah, like things like Spawn, Spawn was R-rated back in the day. Sure, it sucked. But...
Although John Leguizamo as that evil clown was
he gave
peach.
it his all.
No
He did
holds barred.
Such a great job. So
That's true.
yeah. So
And,
movies like Logan, people went to go see it first before they brought their kids to it, and then they saw it and they were like, okay, well, my kids can go see Logan. As opposed to Deadpool, where some people went to go see Deadpool, and then when they came out, they're like, I can never show this to my kid. So, So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. But really, the director has got mighty shoes to fill, okay? Because Guillermo del Toro is a fantastic director. Like, hands down, not only one of my favorite directors, but I think one of the best directors around, really.
And that wouldn't be just because he's Mexican.
No, definitely not. That more has to do with his chain of work.
You know, I agree. I've seen a lot of his more esoteric things, like Espinazo del Diablo, which was fantastic.
The
it was
Backbone.
a ghost story, and he's great with the ghost stories. But what he brings to mainstream movies is his passion and his knowledge of a genre where most people don't even understand symbolism, really.
Yeah.
And then he presents it so that the layperson walks in, sees this thing, and goes, wow, I can identify with this incredibly fantastical thing.
Yeah.
I also really care for him.
Yeah, no, it's
Reef is leaving.
all good. Pan's Labyrinth. It's my favorite movie. My favorite. Like, the way you're able to mix a war story and a fairy tale, okay, and still have it the main character be a young girl it's something that you rarely see done, and if it is done, sometimes it's not done correctly. So, you know, and that was an R-rated movie.
It was, wasn't it?
That was an R-rated. That was a very well done R-rated movie.
That I feel like a lot of parents would let their kids see.
Correct. So as far as the Hellboy reboot, they had this to say: the reboot will indeed be rated R and will be a darker horror story. Give me 2 seconds. This thing like fizzed out on me. There's an ad coming up. There we go. It'll be a darker horror story. It's than the lighter one from Del Toro, and as you get to see a lot of cool action scenes that include several heads. There are some creatures of darkness. One creature has giant tentacles which wraps themselves around the London Bridge, hence why they will be filming in London. The film leaves it wide open for a sequel, as you get to see who Hellboy is after next. So already talks of sequels, guys, for this Hellboy reboot.
Did it give a time period? Is it going to be a period piece, or is it going to be him?
So it says you will
here?
see the BPRP headquarters, which is in the Snow-Cat Mountains. You will see arcane artifacts, cryptid skeletons, freakish things encased in formaldehyde, period weapons. Fans will also get to see.
Oh, so this is a period. This is him as a younger.
Yeah, it looks
creature.
like.
So this puts him back in, what was it, World War I, World War II?
WWE
Where they discovered him.
Two.
Okay.
It might. Was it? You sure it was 2?
I'm pretty sure it was 2. I'm pretty sure it was the Nazis that wanted Hellboy.
Well, I mean, I know why now. It's got the
Oh,
R rating
the
with
Thule,
this huge
yeah.
giant creature with huge testicles. You know, storming the bridge.
Tentacles, guys, tentacles.
Oh.
So, episode 69 for you guys. Big red dicks and giant testicles.
Hey.
And all the kids are saying, why is Hellboy so horny?
Well, honey, you see, he's anatomically correct, and he's not actually human, so it's okay to show animal genitals, don't you know?
So we're talking Hellboy. We're talking Hellboy remake and reboot, and hopefully it goes well. Okay. Not only does the director have big shoes to fill, the new actor playing Hellboy has huge shoes to fill in Ron Perlman's case.
He does.
Ron Perlman is a great actor.
Right? People love him as Hellboy.
Like, there was like a whole campaign on like Twitter and Facebook for Hellboy 3.
Well, how tall is this new actor? Because part of Ron Perlman's deal is he's really good at playing huge, giant presences because he himself is literally a giant presence. He's a big, big guy.
Exactly.
And he made a lot of his early career, even in movies where he didn't speak the language, by just being a big guy.
It's
I know you
true.
can fight, but can you hold territory?
Several French movies come to mind, as a matter of fact.
For me, it's
When he played a sheriff, he had the authority.
Desperate. Oh wait, what's it called?
Oh no! In
Desperation.
Desperation.
So I'm thinking.
Desperation. It was a Stephen King movie.
I'm thinking.
He was the crazy sheriff.
I'm thinking the
Enemy captured
what's
zone
that?
B. Gains the lead.
Joe Lynch just came in.
What is that first movie that he did with Del Toro? It was the one with the scarab, with the golden scarab on the old man.
Oh my goodness, I know this one. Darn it.
Where like the old guy is
man.
trying to live forever and he wants the golden scarab
And this poor pawn shop
yeah, the
owner,
poor shopkeeper
geez.
finds it. And then Ron Perlman is the son of the old guy that's trying to live forever. And they're like talking in Spanish, and like Ron Perlman for a hot second almost feels like this character that doesn't belong with all these Spanish speaking people. But by the end of the movie, you're like, you accept Ron Perlman in this role. It'll come to me. But
Damn.
But yeah, Ron Perlman, such a good actor. So big shoes to fill when it comes to this new Hellboy.
Double down.
But aside from Hellboy, guys, we're getting a new Saw movie.
I want to play the game.
Oh yeah, it's called Jigsaw, right?
It's called Jigsaw. Kronos is the movie. Thank you, Ernie. Kronos, 1993. So yeah, guys, we're getting.
Neutralized.
He played Angel.
Enemy captured zone B.
We're getting.
Zone A.
Oh, what do you guys? What is this? The 8th, 9th?
It's currently the 15th.
It's currently the 15th
Of the month?
of the Saw movies.
Oh, is there another one?
Yes,
Oh.
there's another one coming out called Jigsaw.
Do you want to play a game?
Which is funny because we saw that Rick and Morty
Oh God, yeah.
episode last night where they do the Saw thing
yeah.
and they trap the people in the room.
Are you trying to saw us, Rick?
No, I'm a
no,
drunk.
no.
Morty, I'm not a hack.
Okay, it's just like totally a Saw thing.
Like Saw. So, they the Jigsaw coming out. I think they got it slated for Halloween.
They would. Oh, did this one get leaked like the first 6?
No.
Okay, so there's no script. We don't actually know.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this James Wan, right? James Wan, who started the whole Saw thing, and is directing Aquaman.
Zone A.
I didn't know that at all.
Right? He of course started this whole thing. It says the games of Jigsaw will encompass the greatest collection of traps featured in all 8 Saw movies to bring to life the most twisted Saw maze ever produced, and we can't wait for our fans to relive moments from the films. So Lionsgate, very on board. They say, we're thrilled to be partnering again with Universal Studios on an immersive experience that celebrates everything that our Saw fans love. The maze, they're doing like a haunted house maze, guys.
Oh, for Halloween
For
Horror
Halloween.
Nights.
Yep.
Parker's gonna love that.
I actually went through one of the Jigsaw ones.
No
before.
shit.
Oh yeah. It was terrifying. At the very end, there were flashing strobe lights in this kind of like circular room, and then as the lights flicker, 6 of the boar-headed hooded figures just ghost from the walls and surround you.
No shit.
Oh, it was terrifying.
Zone B.
Wow. Well, this new one is it's going to feature the most terrifying traps that made the Saw franchise such a Halloween tradition, including some of the best from a new upcoming film.
Enemy captured.
And a better way to complete the film's release this Halloween than taking audiences. What better way to complete the Halloween feeling than take audiences straight into a maze, a direct maze? So, Jigsaw. Saw is back from the dead. I think
Heavy ammo available.
I think the last one I like remember because I started rewatching these when I saw that they were gonna not remake, but continue making a Saw. I like started rewatching the Saws right from number 1. Actually, it's funny. I couldn't find number 1 online because I'm not gonna buy it. I couldn't find number 1 online, so I like started number 2. Sugah was watching it with me. Sugah, I don't think you've ever seen, like, besides the first Saw movie.
No.
I don't think you've ever seen any Saws.
No.
So we were like watching number 2, pretty fucked up.
Yeah, they are.
Number 3.
Well, I mean, I remember number 2 and 3, number 2 vividly, but my favorite has always been that first one, and it in and of itself did not. The other movies didn't follow this single room, limited cast thing. It was such a different proof of concept. I remember how epic it was.
Yeah, for a while, right? It seemed hectic. I don't know. For me, everything wasn't woven in perfectly, because I remember clearly to like Saw 7. Okay.
Enemy captured.
I like can't really remember Saw 8 or I guess Saw 6 because this one is 8. So I don't really remember Saw 7, but I remember Saw 6. Like one of the detectives was like helping Saw out because Amanda dies, and then Saw's wife is in on it, Jigsaw's wife. So I mean, it was an elaborate story. Okay, I definitely felt like, you know, they weren't just. It felt for me almost like a Marvel movie, right? Where
to build.
They all line up, and it makes sense at the very end once they do the Avengers team up, and then all the single movies make sense. So it was the same for me with Saw. Once like Saw, I think it was like Saw 4 or 5 came around, and then you were like, oh, this is why, you know, Jigsaw's doing this shit, and this is how. Once we saw that Jigsaw origin story, like everything, all the movies like, came together perfectly. So I guess we'll see what they do for this one, because John Kramer's dead, right? Jigsaw, the guy. Jigsaw,
the actual character.
The character, not the actor. The character, he's dead. So, what do you guys think? You think it's going to be his wife who like carries on the Jigsaw-ness?
Is his wife the girl, the young girl?
No, that is his apprentice, which died in like 3.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something that I really felt about Amanda. It didn't feel like she was his first apprentice.
It didn't.
Because you could see where he was continually testing her.
Yes.
And he had kind of this disappointment.
He did.
So I feel like maybe she's not his first protege.
Yes.
So maybe it'll be another apprentice, maybe his first and original apprentice?
Like the first journeyman that ever successfully graduated from the school of
That he
Saw.
set off
School of
somewhere to
Saw,
hone his own skills.
Exactly.
The first apprentice that truly got jiggy with it.
The one that he was proud of.
Get jiggy with it. Yeah. Oh, we'll see. Like Ernie said, Amanda definitely didn't feel like the first apprentice. And once you got into like Saw 5, maybe even Saw 4, you kind of saw that. I get it. That he took on the detective was before Amanda, and didn't the doctor from the first Saw movie eventually become one of his apprentices too?
I don't know if he got coerced. I think coercion doesn't necessarily make you an apprentice. There's just stuff that you have to do so that you won't die.
Okay, I think I'd have to rewatch 7. I think.
If I can, I'd like to tell you my favorite story of how I kind of accidentally became a Saw apprentice.
Okay, go ahead.
Tell me a story.
A bunch of years go by, I start getting into my aviation job, and it becomes real that I might have to work Christmases. So I've got this like little cardboard cutout set up with my own clothing to be at Christmas with my family, and I wasn't sure if I was going to be there or not. So my sister expressed this real fascination and joy for the Saw movies, So when that trilogy box came out, I decided to get it for her. Since I wasn't sure if I was going to be there or not, I gave my mom instructions, but I ended up being there. And what I presented my sister was a made-up jigsaw doll that had one of those little Darth Vader, like little breathy noise speakers in it. So what I did was, as I handed it to her, I had hot wired it so that the breathing would never stop. I essentially shorted it to itself. So here she had this breathing doll with a note pinned to it asking her if she wanted to play a game. If she wanted her gift, she was going to have to perform a surgeon's Y incision across the chest of this doll. And when she got to the middle part of his chest, she snicked the wire and the breathing stopped. And she immediately started shuddering and freaking out because she started to realize what it was inside the chest. So then here she is, mortified that she'd killed this faux creature, but then excitedly ripping up its chest to get her prize, which turned out to be the Saw trilogy.
Very nice. Very nice.
And of course, my mom in the background squawking at her adult children, "Oh, how cool! You're so inventive!" Just loving this, which was pretty great. It's the best I've ever felt about killing some small creature.
So, I mean, there you have it, guys. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you this much, okay? I'm glad this is a continuance and not a reboot.
No, I know.
If anything, this movie could suck a gnarly amount of balls.
But it would be.
But the fact that it's not a reboot, it makes me happy just right off the bat.
Because it's one of the only ones. It's like a lone wolf out there.
That's like another one of those things that, is kind of shitty for me when it comes to the Hellboy reboot.
Well, I mean, I think part of why they call it a reboot is because they have to go back and have to retcon a bunch of stuff. But you could at least lie to yourself and be like, well, this is just the stuff that happened before the Del Toro movies.
It's true.
Cough, cough, wink, wink.
Cough, cough, wink, wink, depending on the timeline, correct. Because if they do like a flashback thing and then a flash forward thing... Yeah, exactly. So it almost would have been better if they would just have continued, right, from the Del Toro series. But what are you gonna do? Remakes are all the rage. I don't know if you guys have noticed. The only thing I hope doesn't happen is I hope Hellboy doesn't suffer from the same thing that the Batman movies do and the Spider-Man movies do, for that fact, is that we're gonna get tired of seeing Hellboy's origin story. Because literally the villain for the first Hellboy movie was the guy that brought Hellboy from the demon dimension.
Right.
So if you're gonna reboot, that means if you're gonna reboot Hellboy, you're gonna have to tell his origin story, which kind of means that might very well be your bad guy for the first movie.
Was this the Thule guy or the Rasputin guy?
Rasputin. Yeah. So...
Which, of course, I mean, it makes sense that it would be.
Exactly. Unless they do the thing where, like Ernie was saying, they just stick to the flashbacks. They do a little bit, maybe they do a little bit of, the Rasputin and Abraham getting Hellboy. And then you do it quick, right?
Yeah.
You do it quick, and then you go straight into, Hellboy in his teens doing his thing, because I think that would be an interesting concept, seeing Hellboy when he's a teenager, 18, 19, as opposed to grown-ass Hellboy.
I mean, an 18-year-old Hellboy would have been a very young creature still. Doesn't he age remarkably slow? Or he matured slowly?
He definitely matured slowly.
Because, I mean, he's about, 25 years old, cough, cough, during
the Del Toros?
The Del Toros, but really, he was a tiny baby creature in World War II.
World War II,
no
so
25-year-old.
50-something,
yeah,
right?
he's a good deal older.
So, yeah, I mean, we'll see what they do. We'll see. That whole recasting process is going to be interesting because it's not just the director, it's not just Hellboy, it's going to be, Abe Sapien. It's going to be his girlfriend. It's going to be his dad. We already know and kind of have a feel for in our heads. So it's definitely going to be one of those things where we'll see where they go with it, and you're just going to have to put faith into it, and it's going to come out good.
Alright.
But yeah, like I said, it very interesting concept if they decide to stick with the young Hellboy. If they like fast forward and if they were to hit, like I said, if they were to hit at Rasputin, but not do Rasputin as the main villain for the first movie, maybe save it for the second or third movie, then more respect from me to you. But again, if you're just going to regurgitate the first movie because it's an origin story and we kind of have to do it, then holy shit, am I going to get sick and tired of Uncle Ben dying over and over again.
Oh, jeez. And Aunt May getting younger and hotter, oddly.
Right? Uncle Ben gets older.
There's an inverse proportion. Uncle Ben's death is the constant in the universe. But...
Oh, Marissa Tomei. Which, you guys ready for like 6 degrees of separation? And this one always makes me laugh internally. I don't think I've ever told this one out loud before. Have you guys ever seen The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Wrestler with Mickey Rourke, Marissa Tomei is a stripper that Mickey Rourke falls in love with, has sex with. Later on, Mickey Rourke ends up playing Whiplash in Iron Man 2, and Marissa Tomei is Peter Parker's aunt. And Peter Parker was that little kid in Iron Man 2 that Iron Man saved, so Aunt May got fucked by Whiplash. Just putting it out there. You know, Aunt May or secret supervillain. I don't know.
I like that. I want that to be a supervillain's name.
I want that to be a thing.
Supervillain. Who are you? I'm secret supervillain.
And the fact that Tony Stark is trying to hit that too is funny because he's trying to hit something that one of his villains hit already. So guys, I think that'll do it.
Well, they're always trying to one up on each other, so you know why not?
It's true. Oh no. So guys, I think that'll do it for this week. That's pretty much been it.
Well, there's something that I know if I don't do, Gal will never ever forgive me.
Oh my goodness! All right, go ahead. It is episode 69.
Gal's got a thing about my Herbert the Pervert voice, and I've got a thing for taking what's that guy's name? The 9.
Oh,
Zur. And I have a favorite quote of Zur's that we found worked with Herbert great. So here it is, and I know it's Gal's favorite. Ready? Haven't seen my muscly armed guardians in a while. I'll make it bring me strange coins.
Oh, those strange coins.
Oh, I love it.
So guys, that'll be it for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Ernie, thank you for being the guest today.
It has been my absolute pleasure.
This has been fun. Guys, we'll be coming to you next week from Colorado?
I think so.
The Springs, specifically.
Not Arizona?
Not Arizona.
We're only in Arizona for the weekend.
We're only in Arizona for the weekend, so we won't be there on a Tuesday. Even if we did, Ducky would have to work anyway, so.
Not going up.
But,
yeah, that's true too.
But guys, let's do some plugs before we get out of here. Gowsy, where can the good people find you?
You can find me at Dave Jersey, Plattsburgh, New York on Facebook. Just go into my pictures, pick an album, take a picture, check out a song, leave a like if you like it. You can find me on Twitter at DJJGow. And you can find me in Chaos's Corner in Ion Indie Magazine.
There you go. Sugah, where can people find you?
People can find me on Adela Red on the Instagram and Sugar Tits on the Twitters. I've been posting photos to the Instagram and some to the Twitter from our trip and some of the fun things that we saw, or the silly things that we are doing. So yeah.
Only 5 minutes left.
Yeah, go ahead and check that out, guys. I, of course, am Soopkichen. That's Soopkichen. You guys can find me here on Twitch, later on when I upload this to YouTube, and, of course, on Twitter and Instagram. Guys, thank you for tuning in, however it is that you're tuning in, whether it's live here on Twitch or later on YouTube. We appreciate the support. And guys, if you are watching on YouTube, please go ahead and hit that thumbs up on this video. Let's start showing the love, guys. Start showing the love. And if you aren't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to that YouTube channel. Let's see if we can hit that 100, guys. So, guys, thank you very much, and we'll catch you guys next week when they'll be rebooting something else that we love so much. And then it's going to be rated R. Mary Poppins, rated R. Star Wars rebooted, rated R.
You reboot the Soopkichen show, rated R.
Yeah, come back next week, guys, when we reboot Waking Up with Sugah and Sugah, and it's going to be rated R.
Super chicken.
So what is it rated right now?
It's NC-17. We're gonna pull back.
Yeah, it's NC-17. We're pulling back.
Turn it down a notch.
All right, guys. See you next week. Enjoy your beautiful Reset Tuesday.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.